Elevation and love. Welcome to the ninth node. We are back with part 2 from what we were last doing. The last thing we was talking about was how when you create these shapes to identify where your parts of your face are gonna lay, you end up with areas where you want to make creases or where you define those lines and they become dark spaces or light spaces, but they aren't naturally on your picture. And the area I was speaking specifically about was the cheekbone and how I had created the triangle over the cheekbone. But what that allowed me to do was, in my mind, create a dark line going down this area here in the back of the nose. And in the picture, I actually don't have that. And so we have to be mindful of doing that as well as we get our work in. So what we're going to do is come in, we're going to grab our tool brush, we're going to color select, and we're going to jump right in where we left off at. So the last I was working on was this cheek area here. And right now we're just painting over all of the hard red lines and using blending techniques to create the seamless skin tone here. So a lot of this area is we're just going to tackle it, get it out the way. And we actually are using a hard brush and we're not using the opacity sensitivity or anything like that. It's just hard brush strokes. And we're just going in and getting it done. And I missed y'all. It's been a day since we've been in part 1. So I have given myself a break as far as having fresh eyes for this work. And sometimes that's what it takes when you get into some of your art pieces. You're going to end up needing to give your eyes a rest from things to kind of be able to focus on them later and see what areas you actually have drawn a little out of proportion. And when you come at your work with a fresh eye, you're able to see those things. You're able to see those areas that maybe you went a little too dark on, you know. And once you come in with that clean eye, that fresh eye, you can go ahead and knock those things out and address them. But, you know, we weren't creating this to be super perfect just yet. We were just smearing around the colors and getting them where we want to be, where we want them to be. And not just being too harsh on, you know, what we see visually. But we just wanted to come in and cut some areas and, you know, define them a little more. Make them a little friendlier on the eye. All in all, this overall picture here is about you identifying with who you really are, right? And just accepting the beauty of yourself. Accepting what you see and being able to just focus in on every small detail that makes up your face. You know, sometimes we create characters for ourselves and that character looks different than us, you know. And you know, it'd be nice to have a character that you draw that's almost identical to you. And the biggest thing is that you are in love with yourself to that level where you're all right with utilizing your own face as your main character, you know, and not just creating something made up, but you are, you know, so in tune with yourself, so in tune with your own beauty that you don't mind expressing yourself and showing who you are to the world. And so I'm getting back to that, you know. I'm getting back to that reality of who are we? You know, we can draw so many other characters, and it's so easy to draw and create characters that we haven't physically seen in real life. But when it comes down to representation of us, it's kind of difficult for some people to, you know, capture exactly what that self looks like. You know, that person that we are. It's so hard to capture that and display that and be proud of it. You know, just be proud of who you are, what you look like, and allow others to indulge in what you see in yourself. I think it's a beautiful thing when you have that type of confidence, that you can say, hey, this is me right here, you know? And no matter what kind of colors that we use, but this is representing what my mood was in the time I created it. This represented, you know, the greater portion of my inner self. You know, a portion that people don't get to see about me. That's what this is about. And so that's why I created these workshops, just to kind of help people get back to that space of self-love and just identifying yourself for yourself, you know. And people can watch you do it, you know. It's not for everybody else, but it's all right that people see you admiring yourself. And it's not in a boastful way. It's not in a arrogant way or anything like that. Because, you know, that we live in a society where when you do try to give yourself attention, you give yourself a little praise, there's some people, they may, you know, try to say that you're a little too arrogant, or you're a little headstrong or anything and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with confidence. There's nothing wrong in giving yourself a good level of value. Is that what you see in yourself? Then that's what the goal should be for for others to see you as well, you know. But we can't be afraid of that. You embrace that. You have to embrace every little aspect. So what I'm doing here is I'm just cross hashing, you know, a lot of these lines. You know, what we were doing before, we were using a fatter brush, you know, to speed up the process. But, you know, the way I feel right now, I feel like, you know, going in and creating a little detail to make this a little more believable to myself. You know, and nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with making it believable for you. Making it come alive. If you've ever wanted to do something in your life and you've been held back by the idea of thinking maybe it's not a good idea because of what others are going to think about it, I encourage you to abandon that idea and that way of thinking. And instead, I encourage you to adopt the idea that what you're doing and what you're creating is not for others, but it's for you. If you have a idea or some sort of vision about something that you think is cool or you think would be awesome to create, that's all for you. That creation is made for you. Now, it's up to you how you decide to share that with other people. It's very important that in our art that we know these things about what we're doing. Yeah, it's okay for others to see you doing doing these things that we're doing here, and experiencing the talent. But just know that, and remember that this is for you. This is your growth. And if other people, they would like to attach themselves and be a part of that growth, that's beautiful. But overall, create that narrative for yourself, that whether others like it or not, that you'll do it for you. And that, what you're doing is unconditional. You're not doing this for anything other than self, for personal growth, for mental health, for physical health, because, mental health relates back to physical health. Anything that happens to you mentally, it starts to manifest itself physically in your body. And so drawing these things helps us mentally to see ourselves in another light. And by seeing yourself in a greater light, you then become greater in your own vision. Physically, you start to become better. It starts out with you, with your thoughts and the way you think about yourself, the way you feel about yourself, the way you start to carry yourself. Once you start to feel a certain kind of way about yourself, you start to carry yourself differently. And others can see that. And, to the ones that are used to seeing you down at the bottom, those are going to be the ones that are talking about, oh, he's headstrong, oh, you're arrogant, oh, you're feeling yourself. And that's all right. You rather me feel myself than to not be feeling anything at all, or to be feeling worthless. Right? That's what I like to see in the world. I like to see people encouraging each other to feel themselves a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with ego. Ego is awareness, right? Ego is awareness of self, and that there are no doubts about yourself. When you doubt yourself, that kills the ego. You need ego in order to get some things done in life. You need just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a lot, and I don't mean overdo it. And compare yourself to other people. That's a whole nother level there. But I'm talking about is having that confidence that you can achieve what you need to achieve. That whatever your goal is and whatever your mission is, that is going to happen because you are capable of doing it and you're motivated to do it. So, and that goes a long way, not just being, confident, but actually having the know-how to get it done and go ahead and doing it. And that speaks volumes to anybody that's watching from the outside, especially when they see you doing stuff that you didn't do before. It can be, and they can take it either way. They can be inspired by your movement and the things that you do, or they can go ahead and hate because they aren't on that level with you. But overall, it's important that you don't allow that to discourage you from getting to your next level. You don't allow what other people are saying about your work or what your accomplishments are. You don't allow that to hinder you. You just know that, all criticism, I think in a sense, is good criticism, because people's opinions will tell you, whether negative or positive, will tell you that you're doing something out of the ordinary. Because once you're doing something worth looking at, people are going to have an opinion about it. They're going to have something to say. Right? And so, that's good promotion. Yeah, promote me. Give me your feedback, whether it be negative or positive. We will accept it gladly. because it's all energy, and it's what you do with that energy at the end of the day. Whatever you do with that energy. And people are going to give their energy to you for free. Oh, take it. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks for your opinion. You know, even the opinions that we didn't ask for, you know, be grateful for those too, you know. Be grateful for all of them. But some people, they say not a word about the things that you do. And you can be wanting those people to say something or to get some feedback. We didn't have much structure going on here on this ear, so we're going to go and cross compare. And what I'm doing is just draw figuratively an invisible line from the edge of the mouth over to where I can see the ear, and how far up is the ear from that portion of the lips. You always want to find some way to measure what you see, and that's going to give you your next move. So we're about right as far as where I put that red line at. Sometimes we don't do enough details inside of our shaping, and then those areas we end up having to kind of spitball to get them to look like what we need them to look like. All right, we're probably gonna need some more colors to come in and create this earring section the way we really want to do it. And again, you're not totally sure about certain areas that you're working on, just smear some colors around until it looks like what you're looking at on your reference. Eventually you'll get around to the shape that you need it to be. But don't be discouraged if you see something that you're trying to put into a shape form and it just feels like it's not happening. Just keep on working it. Keep on smearing those colors around until you get it. Don't give up on it. And after trying so much and failing at it, the next best thing is just to move on. Give yourself some space from it so you can get a fresh eye. If you got to move from it, that's fine. You move away from it and then you come back to it and you give it another go. But you never give up on it, okay? Never give up on what you're seeing. Yeah. It's pretty close to what I see. Then the shading will happen for that when it's right. Now I'm going to leave this earbud part out. It was not my intentions to have that in this, and so that's why I'm kind of spitballing this. And as I can see, we did an all right job with that. And then we're going to continue this out. Continuing to get rid of those red lines. You know, continue to make this thing what it need to be. Going a little darker. Yeah. Take your time on this. If you need to pause this video or go back or any of that, you know, spend the time on it. If I said something you didn't totally understand, shoot me an email or leave it in the comments, and I'll be able to answer it for you. I get all my notations in real time, so pretty much everything you all send to me, I'll be able to answer within a 24-hour period. So if you're working on something, don't think I won't get back to you right away. More than likely, I'll get back to you right away. Right that right there. This was the darkest area, what we was talking about earlier. Those under the chin areas and jaw lines, those are really unique areas to figure out. Let's go back over to this side. This side is more hair than anything. A couple of areas where the hair is. There, and then the cheek. I think that's the under area that I have to cut that out. Yep. And if you feel really comfortable with, you know, having all of this on one layer, that's cool too. Right now we just got that second layer, and that's what's creating the fine details that we have here. But if you're comfortable with having that all one layer, go ahead, man. If you want to challenge yourself to it, I believe that you can do it, and you have to believe it too. You have to believe in yourself. Challenge yourself. We have people of all levels of skill doing these exercises, and man, the stuff that people are capable of, it's like some people, the type of artwork that they're doing in these workshops, it's like they never knew that they could do that because they never really challenged themselves to be on this level. But I'm telling you, once you start drawing from emotions, a lot of the work that you're doing is just going to start to make more sense to you. The techniques that you're using are going to make more sense. All right, now I want to open this area up. When I was looking at this picture, when I got finished, I was scanning to see the resemblance and looking for things that I might have overdid or underdid. And this area here was one of them. So I have a nice amount of highlight going down the center here, and it's like a nice little teardrop area here. And I want to create that in this area too. And so, you know, when you're doing this, sometimes you're not going to see it the first time. That's why it's so important to get a little rest for your eyes, you know, so that everything is fresh. There we go. We're just pushing everything outward now at this point. We push it out. Add a little more weight to the nose, you see. All right. And then this up here, we're bouncing that highlight. It was a lighter side on the outside, and then fades into a darker portion. It's a little too dark there. Just putting in colors where you want them. Right, putting the colors where you want them and where they look good at. That's what it comes down to at the end. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I've given a lot of thought to the workshops, and from now on, these workshops are going to be held on Saturday at 9 Hawaiian time, 9 a.m. Hawaiian time. And we're going to do it like that until things like really get busy. I want to offer this to as many people as I can. I know that there's a lot of people out there with we all live in different time zones. It's really easy for the people who live here on this time frame to get in on these workshops, but could be a little difficult for somebody that's like 10 hour difference than, from me. But Saturdays, I think, is a reasonable day that really everybody can kind of craft a little bit of time to get in. And so I'm going to start doing these on Saturdays. And rather than breaking your pockets, I'm going to allow you all to indulge in these for the cost of inspiration. Just show up and be inspired to do something that you didn't do the last time, right? Challenge yourself to try different techniques, different skills, and build your skills, And I'd like to give back to my community that way. So if you want one-on-one time, then that is where you'll have to, foot the bill a little bit, just to help to keep the momentum going with my time and effort to do this at all. But for the people that cannot afford a math tutor or art lessons, a math tutor, a art tutor. Did I say math tutor or art tutor? I don't even know anymore. Yeah, for anybody that just can't afford to pay for lessons, we have things like this in place. And this is just where we all come together on a Saturday and paying homage to each other and indulging in each other's growth process, and encouraging each other to feel better about themselves, feel better about yourself, feel better about life, feel better about your skill set, just go all the way in and make sure you got it. And see, I've drawn that out a little bit. See, so we're going to cut them in a little bit. Just cut them in just slightly. But no rush on this stuff. You feel me? No rush at all. No rush happening here. All right, I think see, I've gotten rid of a lot of the lines already that I needed to get rid of. I think that we can go into the next step of blending. The next step of blending would be turning on that opacity, pressure sensitivity, setting, and making sure that we are able to blend and maybe even add a highlight color in here, because right now we're just dealing with two different colors. And so we want to pick us a nice color that we can, turn into the highlight of this whole picture. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a familiar color that we think is gonna blend real easy and smooth. But I like to challenge you guys. It's all about challenging yourself and seeing yourself in a greater light, right? So let's see what we have. Actually, I can actually pick from the list. I'm gonna pick from the list. Let me see. Let me pull it up real quick. I'm not gonna show you all, but I'm just going to pick from my personal list of fillings. And we'll save this for the actual Saturday get up here, where I come and show you all. I'm gonna show you exactly what the whole shebang thing is, All right, so maybe perhaps we want to do like let's look at the fillings. All right, so I'm dealing with illumination and clarity, success and abundance, purity and innocence, warmth and vitality. Vitality. Love and compassion, tranquility and refreshment, sophisticated and glamour, energy and grounding, or precise and allure. What do I feel right now? That's the biggest question, right? And that's what we're drawing from, what we feel. Most definitely feeling successful and abundant right now. I can feel that all over myself right now. So let's go with that. Successful and abundant. And that's a really nice color. A really nice color. So let's see if we can pull that in from here with the look like I'll have to color mimic that. Wow. All right, so we got this golden color now. That's going to create a whole nother look here for what's happening and what's going on. But it is a cool color. And I'm gonna drop another layer on this just to see exactly where I'm going with it. Highlights are everything, right? And so we had this highlight up here that's doing this thing. Let's go ahead and cut that opacity on so we can get a good blend, right? And we're not overworking ourselves. See, without that switch, without your opacity sensitivity turned on, you're gonna work extra hard to get these things to move how you need them to move. All right. And see, this just throws a whole nother level of complication into the work, because now we're dealing with this color here that we didn't have before, right? But now we got to figure out where this is going to go and how it's going to play a part in bringing this picture to life even more. So the thing is, just like how we did with the dark areas, we're going to identify the lightest areas of this picture. And we come into that shiny spot. That was the brightest area. It's even more brighter than the eyes. You know, it's the first thing I saw. That, the earring here, the nose ring, the nose, the white on the eyes, the little highlight areas on the eyelids and the pupil. All of these areas, this is your chance to really get in there and, you know, get creative with this. And just loosely put it in there, you know. It doesn't have to be perfect just yet, okay? All we're doing is finding those highlights and putting them where we need them to go, okay? And don't beat yourself up on this side, okay? If you're following along with me, you know, if you're mimicking these colors, hey, encouragement is everything. In our workshops, we're going to do stuff that professional artists is going to look at and go, why would they do that with that color palette? And we have to go, well, if we never do anything different, and how can we create a new style? How can we say that we're artists if we just keep following the same tactics and the same ways of tackling self-portraits and art, you know, or just throwing ourselves into a category? I'm not sure what my category would be as far as style of artwork that I do. I come from a graffiti background, and when I was a kid, that's what I did. I did graffiti. I worked on murals. We'd have school murals for hospitals and, you know, children's hospital. That was what I was into, and that's what I thrived on. I just had to be doing graffiti somewhere, putting words together in crazy ways and drawing block figures and using crazy vibrant colors against each other to make the scenery pop. And, you know, so that plays a lot, you know, in what this style is today and how I came up with this idea. Was just based off of what I was feeling, the things that I felt like I wanted to draw. Because when I was younger, I started to get bored with drawing. You know, I started to get in that zone where I didn't really know what I wanted to draw anymore. I wasn't pulling any inspiration from anywhere because I felt like I had pretty much drawn everything I wanted to draw. And you can fall into that category. You'll get bored with drawing, you know, things that you draw a whole lot of. If you draw every day the same type of styles and you never challenge yourself, or your interest is just not there to learn other techniques, all of that stuff, it'll cause you to slow down. You know, you'll slow down a little bit, and it'll take some time for you to really regain your momentum again with creativity. But the idea is just to draw from your feelings, because if you listen to what yourself is saying, you listen to your inner voice, it'll kind of tell you what to draw. It'll tell you the things that you need to focus on. Okay. And the whole idea is just listen at that point. Listen. And see where it takes you. You know, get ready for the journey. And already it's coming out to be something totally different than what we did, right? Right now we're just blending that color out. What I did was I color selected an in-between color between that pink and that yellow. And I'm not even sure what to call this kind of color. All I know is that that's what I feel. You know, I feel this color. And it's coming down really nicely. And that's all we want to do. We just want to get that medium going, feel the feelings that we feel the vibration, and utilize it to add these colors in here and blend them, make them a family, you know, make these into a family. Yeah. And none of this got to be perfect, as I'm saying before. None of it got to be perfect. If you're doubting yourself, correct the steps. There should be no doubt in your voice, no doubt in your heart. Just allow yourself to feel what you feel and move it around on the paper or the canvas. Allow yourself to feel it. You know what I learned about emotions? Emotions are not ours to have. They're just there for us to experience. Right? They're just there for us to indulge in them, learn from them. And when we've gotten all of the information from them that we need, we release them. We ought to release them. I think it's very hard for some people to release emotions after they've experienced them, and that's what causes so many people to go through, you know, so-called depression or anxiety. Is that, you know, you feel those things for so long, and if you don't have an outlet to help you to release certain energies, those energies become very familiar. And the more familiar these energies get and become, the more semi-comfortable you become with them. And I say semi because you really don't have control over those emotions anymore. Once you allow certain emotions to attach themselves to you and you take ownership of it, you give it access to you and you lose control over it. And so we work on, inside of these workshops, we work on releasing energies that we don't own, right? And there's a lot of energies in this world that we don't own. A lot. And so you know, pay attention to some of the energies and the emotions that you feel. And just know that it's all right to experience and to feel what you feel. It's all right to be angry. It's all right to be upset. You know, but there's a time for it all. There's a time for you to experience it. And then there's that area where you have to make a decision to let it go. To just let it be. Right? To grow from it and learn from it, heal from it, and move forward. And don't allow it to hinder you from experiencing any other happiness in your life. That's pretty much what I learned about emotions. I feel that I owe it to myself to teach it to other people, since it helped me to beat depression. There's a lot of people out in this world that have experienced the same thing, and some even still experiencing and haven't come to terms with being able to just let things go and acknowledge that feeling is just a feeling. It's just something you experience, but you don't own it. It's not yours to own. So when that time comes to give it back to nature, to return that energy from where it came, you return it. It was just something you're releasing, and so you have to release it. It's kind of like catching fish. If you like fish for a sport, like those type of people, they go out and just catch fish for fun, and they have to release them. Sometimes they catch some really big fish and they don't want to put them back, and they have to talk themselves into it. Hey, it's just a sport, it's time to put it back now. You had to look at it something similar to that. Put that thing back. Don't let reality stress you out. You're here to experience it and not let it control your reality in total. But just give you a little something, give you a little life lesson. So maybe you can go out and teach somebody, or help somebody else to become their greater selves, or go to the next level in their life. No, we're just smearing all of this around. We're still using that opacity, okay? And this is just keeping the brush size the same while creating the transparent brush stroke. That's all we're doing here. I'm trying to capture all of these highlight spots in the face, and I haven't tackled the eyes yet. That's one thing we haven't done. But we're just easing into it. That's all we want to do. We just want to ease into there, Let's see how much time we own. Yeah, we just want to ease it. That's all we doing here. Another thing too, in these workshops, I understand, and maybe I encourage you to understand too, that when you're close to your finishing product, or what you think is finished, you will have an urge to go back and look at it again, and you might see some things that pull you back from thinking that the product is finished again. I want to encourage you not to beat yourself up about little small stuff, little small details that you could have made better, or you could have done better on. I like to think that when you're creating from the now, and during that time, your eyes are seeing what they see, and the emotions that you feel are creating everything that you're putting down on this canvas, right? And I mean, that's everything. So I encourage you to not be nitpicking with what you missed later on inside of your painting, but rather embrace that there's room for improvement next time, and there's going to be plenty of workshops for you to get your skills up, and to get get your blending and all of that together to such a degree that every time you look at your work, you're gonna say, yeah, I did that. Ain't gonna be much for you to talk about, you know, when it's all said and done. But yeah, don't be hard on yourself, okay? Don't be hard on yourself. There, I'm trying to get this thing to look right in here, you know. There's a little dark spot in there. I'm gonna blend that out a little bit. Now I didn't went too far, so I gotta bring it back to the dark side. Now also, when you're working on this part, the blending techniques and things, sometimes having a brush too big is going to cause you to, you know, undo what you just did. And so you just got to keep an eye out for that when that does happen, that you catch it and you pull it back on in, you know. You just reel it back in. Trust the process. Okay, trust the process. Yeah. Now, well, let's see what else we got that we didn't blend yet. Now we're just scanning over our work, and we're looking for these areas that we didn't blend all the way yet, right? Areas that we didn't totally blend. And we just want to go in and handle those gently, you know, gently. Wholeheartedly treat this with care. Feel those emotions that you feel in these colors. You know, and then, you know, you can contemplate on why these colors has come to you. You know, why the colors that you received are the ones that you picked. And there's a reason for it all, you know. Sometimes we don't know. And we have to, you know, really examine what the reason could be. And then a little bit of that yellow there. And all in all, too, there's different techniques to get this texture look going on your face. If you like to have a texture look, or if you like to have, you know, a really smooth look. But you can just pepper in if you want, you know, texture look, or if you got the brushes to do so. You know, ain't nothing wrong with using the brushes. It's not a cheat, it's a tool, right? So if I want to, you know, bring out some of these pores that I have on my face, I can dab a couple of times and get that in there. That just adds more to the overall look of things, you know. Even all of this area down here where you see little hairs and little pores and things, if I wanted to like really add all that in, I can make it happen, you know. Overall, we're just identifying all these little things that we see in this picture, all little crevices, all little areas. Blend them in there. Get that up there. Darker areas came in up here and kind of faded out there. Right. We can go with a smaller brush and, attack a little. Pictures like that. That's if you want texture. You might want to just do smooth, and smooth is cool too, but all in all, just challenge yourself, Challenge yourself to do something that you never done before. You'd be pretty amazed at what you create when you start doing random actions on the canvas. Yeah, just random stuff. All right. Now let's see what's going on with this neck, because I neglected all of this down here. And it might, could be just the last little finishing touches when you get down to this area down here. Depending on what you're doing with it, you can cut it short, or, create a collar. I can create the collar out. I prefer to just have it the way it is, and maybe even add some structure to the neck, if you're like a masculine person or any of that type of stuff, where you got the Adam's apple or whatever. You can highlight all of that stuff in there. We still got areas here that we need to go in and make final with that yellow that we have, and going into the corners of the eyes here. And I may actually put that underneath the layer, in that layer that we had before, or I'll create another layer just for that. Let me see. I thought that I had that open, but I didn't. So what we're gonna do is go back to the hardness brush for this. Or we could just pull that and it'll create a nice hardness brush. Bring the size all the way down. Get 100% opacity. I guess we get rid of this since it wasn't where we needed it to be anyway. We just go in and create this. I'm not zooming in for the whole purpose that I want this to be. I want you to be able to see this really nice on the video. I want the video to be consistent to where it's not a whole lot of zooming in and out. You can pay attention to everything on the canvas, no matter where I'm working at. A little bit there. See that there? Another area I wanted to throw some more emphasis on is this area here. It's on there. Light there. There. here. Okay. Now we're getting to where we are really starting to physically move these things around and finalize. So once you get to this phase of finalizing, the best thing to do is just to be confident. That's the best thing that you could do at this point. And maybe that's a little too high. I like to come down a little bit. And I'm referencing off of this part here. If I draw an invisible line, it's going to line up just above that lip there. Okay. So where I drew that before was a little too high. But this part was correct. And it's all right when you start drawing from just your memory of what an ear looks like. Because that's kind of what I'm doing. I can't see that area, but I'm trying my best to make that happen. Okay. Then choosing the softness will help us to really find that shade. Stay confident though. Stay confident. Finish it strong. Finish strong. This is a little challenging here. All right. We're getting somewhere. There's still areas where we got red. That's totally fine. You're gonna have little areas that you notice here and there that you're still crafting out and still trying to move around until you get it fully structured. But that's fine. That red was a part of the motion too, you see? It was part of the motion. You know, allow it to be part of the team. Allow it to be part of the experience. We got this in pretty good. We got little elements of things here and there that I really like. That there. A little color there for the edge of the eye. Then we'll come in here and maybe pepper this in a little bit with some small highlights. Give that skin a little bit of gloss. Just lightly going in and tapping different areas. Just wherever you see that you can add a little more detail to make it pop a little more. Just go in and, add that in there. Wherever you see you need to add a little texture, I'm just tapping on the screen to create these little pores and, you know, little bumps and things that I see in my skin. And that's what creates me. The tip of the nose too. Yeah. And of course, we're gonna have to do something with this top lip. Because it wouldn't make sense to have all of this detail here and then have some smooth lips. I couldn't do that to myself, right? Or I shouldn't do that to myself. Give myself a little something, a little detail to look at here. I'm still hacking away at the red. The red is hiding itself pretty good in here. All right, let's see how we're gonna go about this. So I want some good texture, but I don't want to overdo this texture here. And this is kind of tricky because we had those dark spots, remember? And the top lip is darker. Indeed, it's darker. But we also have the sunlight shining off of this dark area. But then it becomes how do you capture the highlights while at the same time maintaining those colors, that element. It's like a little line there. Little details that shows that the lips are touching and kind of stretching. And the outside of this here, really bright edge there. And all right. Now, I'm going to tackle some grays. It's one of my favorites. Now, grays will just go a layer up. Come in with a really fine brush with 100% opacity. And we'll just run some squiggles here. You know, I used to make this joke with my wife all the time. I used to say, I'm going to be a sexy salt and pepper. And that was before all the grays. And now that I have it, I'm trying to live up to it. I'm a sexy salt and pepper. I'm gonna be there one day. That'll be probably 20, 30 years from now, when I got a whole head full of it, you know. So we had a couple of them. It's the fun part here, because it's like you can spend hours on hair just by itself. You can go hours and hours, hair strokes, and trying to get the perfect hair. But the thing is, you got to know when to quit, right? You got to know when enough is enough, when you've added enough hair to the area. Maybe that one there, maybe that one. And maybe I want to come in and go a little lighter against those highlights and just kind of define what those are hanging on to. Like I said before, like, this is all about just what you feel when you feeling what you feeling. Got little hairs all over the place. Now have some pop out. Even there, got a couple of them in there that create a little texture there underneath the lip. But ain't nothing wrong going in and doing stuff like this, okay? Maybe coming in with a fine eraser and cutting out and sharpening up some of those edges. I could do it on the side of the face, but I'm not gonna do that, Like I said, you have to know when enough is enough, and when you put enough down, because you don't want to overdo it. I don't want to overdo it, I just want to do it just enough to tell my story. When I was younger, I used to have such smooth eyebrows. I don't know where that went to. I guess like the fullness used to be really there. And now I'm starting to thin in my eyebrows. And that's funny because it's not happening to my hair, but it's most definitely happening to the eyebrows. I guess that just comes with living. You keep on living, eventually you're gonna reach that area in life where everything want to fade out on you, But within all of it, there's still beauty. There's still beauty. All right, I'm loving this. I am liking where this went. I'm liking how far these colors took us, you know, and how well it's telling a story. It's really telling the story that I wanted to tell as far as myself. And that's all you can ask for at the end of the day. When you create something that captures the story of your life, or moments of your life, then that's beauty. Other people can share that with you. I'm just going ahead and put me a 9 in here, and we're gonna be done with this one. All right. Well, I think this is complete as far as I can see for now. I want to encourage you to keep doing this type of techniques, these type of exercises. I want to invite you to the next workshop that I have. Just go over to the website at ninth-node.art and, you know, scroll through the first page. The first page, you're going to find the workshops that I'm running for free. I want to see you in here with me doing this every Saturday and just getting better as I get better. And we're going to address a whole bunch of things that have to do with emotions and healing and all of those type of things that make up personal growth, you know, elevation and love. I'm out this thing. See you in the next one.